What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we're going to talk about which B flat you should use and why. The saxophone is built with 3 different B flats, and each of these B flats is meant to help make your saxophone technique sound a lot cleaner. So let's start off talking about the first and most common B flat, which is the bis B flat. So the bis B flat is fingered with your B key and the little key below it, which is called the bis key. So it's these 2 keys together pressed with 1 finger. So it sounds like this. And the function for this B flat is when you're jumping around on your saxophone. So if you're playing G, B flat, D, anytime you're jumping around, you're going to want to use your bis B flat. It's going to make everything sound a lot cleaner and a lot smoother. Here is a perfect example. If I play the notes B flat, G, and F back and forth a bunch of times, that fingering is really easy because when I go to the B flat from the G, all I have to do is lift these 2 fingers. So if I use this bis B flat, I can play really fast. That fingering is perfect because I can move my fingers really fast when I'm jumping 2 notes. Now, this is probably the most common B flat that people use, especially jazz musicians, and some people only use this B flat, which works. But if you want a lot cleaner technique, knowing all 3 of your B flats and when to use them is going to go a long way for you and help really clean up your technique. So the reason we don't use bis B flat all of the time is because when we go between B flat and C, B flat and C, you have to flip-flop back and forth between those notes, and it's never going to be really clean. So if you're playing a scale or fast passage that goes A, B flat, C, or C, B flat, A, basically anything that's scale-wise motion, in other words, going in the movement of a scale, it's always going to sound a little sloppy when you go between B flat and C if you use your bis B flat. So for that reason, when we're doing scale-wise motion, we want to use a different B flat. And that B flat is A, 1, 2, with your bottom side key. So this is what I call the regular B flat. And that's because in the beginner band books, when they're teaching you how to play a saxophone, that is the first B flat that you learn, A with the side key. So if you're playing scale-wise motion, A, B flat, C, or C, B flat, A, it's going to sound really clean and really clear, and there's going to be no blips or blops. So even if you're trilling between a B flat and a C, it's super easy because you just finger an A with the side key and then lift your B key for the C. So when you're playing scale-wise motion, you want to get in the habit of using your A with the side key. So here's an example of playing an F scale, and I'll use my A with the side key because I'm playing scale-wise motion, A, B flat, C. So that is a really great way to practice your A with the side key is when you are practicing scales. There is a third B flat on your saxophone. However, this one has a very specific use. The third B flat is 1 and 1. So your first finger in your left hand and your first finger in your right hand. Now, the way you want to use this is when you're doing a grace note from a B flat to a B. It's super easy to play that grace note, or if you're scooping, that's a really great fingering for those 2 types of embellishments. However, if you're going to hold a note, that is not the fingering you want to use. The 1 and 1 fingering should not be used to hold a note. And the reason for that is on a lot of saxophones, it's really out of tune and it's just not a really stable sounding note. Now on my saxophone, you can hear when I go between the 1 and 1 and the bis B flat that the bis B flat sounds better. It's better in tune. The 1 and 1 is a little bit out of tune and it's just not as clear. So for that reason, you don't want to use your 1 and 1 except for when you're doing grace notes or scoops. Now, you can also use any of the notes in your right hand. So you could go 1 and 1, or 1 and 2, or 1 and 3. They all do the same note. Even though you could use any of the fingerings in your right hand to do a 1 and 1, most likely you're going to use your first finger just because it's going to be easier and a little bit cleaner. So we have 3 different B flats and they have 3 different functions. So you have your bis B flat, and your bis B flat is used for jumping around. When you're jumping around intervals, the bis B flat is what you want to use. If you are playing scale-wise motion, A, B flat C, or C, B flat A, you want to use your A with the side key. And if you're going to be playing a grace note from a B flat to a B, or scooping from a B flat to a B, your 1 and 1 fingering is going to be the best choice. So if you use the correct B flat at the correct time, your technique on the saxophone is going to sound a whole lot cleaner.